Thank you for that.
Welcome, all you beautiful viewers, to Late Time Talks. I'm here with,
Diego.
and we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories.
Ooh.
Now, Diego has a couple picked out. I know a couple of them, but they're not exactly appropriate. Now, Google, the definition for conspiracy is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful, or the action of plotting. And then everybody knows what a theory is. Something that's not yet proven to be fact.
Okay.
But believed. What's one of the theories you got?
One of them is one I actually grew up with. That started around maybe 5th grade. It is the blue slime used in Burger King.
Yummy.
Do you know any of that? Have
Nope.
you ever heard of that?
Nope. I've heard of the McDonald's one, but that was more of a creepy pasta.
Yeah, that one's just a creep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the blue slime thing happened in my school. It I don't know how it started coming up, but all the kids started saying that Burger King, the burgers weren't fresh, they were frozen. The only reason it tasted so well is because they would use this frozen blue slime and put it on top of the grill, or is it a grill?
Griddle. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd put it on top of it and then smear like the patty all over it. And I think it caught on because for a while Burger King was on the news in the time that I was in 5th grade for something to do with their food. I don't know off the top of my head. Not to mention
Probably
that
food poisoning.
the Burger King I used to live next to got I don't know what it's called when the food inspector or the health inspector.
Yeah.
They shut them down for a while because a lot of people reported it. I didn't report it because I was a kid. Their playground place, right? You know how there's a little bit of space behind there?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a regular, just open room, right? There were frozen patties there. But they weren't frozen.
Oh.
There were just boxes of patties there. And I didn't know that was bad.
Oh.
But at the news reported that, they were not keeping them frozen, that it was a giant health hazard. And little me at the time thought, that's the slime they're using. I figured it out. I don't know if the slime's ever real, but that's what was happening.
So. It's probably just leftover grease or something.
The classic.
Usually just oil or something, but it's not blue.
I don't know why it was that specific, but that's what was roaming
blue
around.
Slime.
Yeah.
Sounds yummy. Not like the pink sauce?
No.
You want the pink sauce? I'll order the pink sauce just for us to eat.
I'll do it on camera. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll throw up at the end of it, just because I don't think we should
Content.
ingest that like that. It's not FDA approved.
A lot of things aren't.
What's another one you got for us? Because I got some big ones pulled up here on that computer, but
Another one is one I heard not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago, in Disneyland. You know how all workers can sometimes dress up as characters, right? To play with the kids, they have their full-on big puffy suits to play the role of the character you know and love from the TV shows or movies. What I heard recently was if there is an intruder in Disneyland or a guest that has the intention to cause harm or disruption, that no one is allowed to harm the, intruder, except for Aladdin. That Aladdin, the character Aladdin, whoever's playing him, would have special permission to kill that person.
So, from my understanding, I believe that Disney has their own secret service.
I've heard of
So
that.
they actually watch and protect, along with a microphone that's planted on the like if somebody's like goofy or something, they have a microphone planted on that person.
That would make sense.
And it's also to monitor them. If they're saying something that they shouldn't, they're going to get yanked to the back. And there's like tunnels all over Disneyland.
It happened recently. It wasn't Disney, but it happened recently with the fair last year when things started opening up again. A character said something wrong to a kid in a parade, and it like caught news.
Oh,
I don't remember what it was. If you know what it is, I didn't
I
remember.
don't know.
But it might have been because of that.
It's been around for a while though. I'm pretty sure for like a couple years now, even before COVID.
Really?
Yeah, and they will kill people. They're literally their sole responsibility is to protect the actors
Right.
or whoever you want to call them.
The workers, I guess.
But like they have like a whole tunnel system and everything. It's creepy.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of one of the tunnels. It's like it stretches for a while.
I thought I heard of it when I was
I bet
younger.
I could pull it up.
Into go for it. Yeah. I've seen the conspiracy videos of saying that Disney always had secret tunnels, and that one person found it, that it was like boarded up. But I always thought it was like a fake attraction for what was the miner? What were the like mining guys?
Yeah,
I don't
Walt Disney
remember.
World has secret police disguised as park guests. It's per DisneyTips.com.
DisneyTips.com.
Let me see if I can get the tunnel. Disney secret tunnel.
I'm sure you get articles, but are there images?
Probably. Yeah, these
Oh.
ones, and they stretch like all over. They're like endless. There's like back room shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like the back rooms. For the audio only, it just looks like if you watch Stranger Things, it's just the underground tunnels. That's it. It's nothing that special.
It's like a New York subway with no subway.
With no subway. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With the Aladdin thing though, I
don't know if
think
that's true.
No, the Aladdin thing is not true because it became a whole thing in I think around 2013
Oh, okay.
because they had to release the statements because the rumor started of someone online who put a photo of their contract, right, of their acting contract,
Right.
saying that only Aladdin has special permissions to kill a guest if they're endangering anyone. And people were saying, "Oh, that makes sense because it's Aladdin. It's just a guy in baggy pants and just half a shirt. You know, every other character wouldn't have anything."
Right.
And then people would say, "Well, what does he have? A plastic prop sword? Like you never know. He might have
And a monkey.
might have a Glock in there. You know."
Hey.
Yeah, and Disney had to come out and say, "No, this is not it. Here are our official paperworks for the people who act out as characters for the children."
I see.
You know, Disney always trying to keep their monopoly in check.
Yeah. Keep those. Wait, can't.
I don't know if you can say that. I think. I
Well,
know where you're
Walt
going.
Disney himself, I believe he was anti-Semitic, which is funny because nowadays the CEO and a whole bunch of others, I believe they are Jewish.
Oh yeah.
They've been overthrown.
Let's go.
Woo, stay
Let's
winning.
shoot for 40. Tell me some you know.
Well, everybody knows the CIA and AIDS. I got it pulled up on Time Magazine here.
I think I know that one very
And
little,
that,
but
that the CIA basically created the epidemic of AIDS and just basically like spreading it to the gay community because they are undesirables in their eyes at the time.
does it say or do you know when this started? Because
That's
not
probably
what I
80s.
knew.
That's probably 80s right there. Yeah. So basically, here's what Time Magazine says. Since the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention first reported the HIV/AIDS epidemic in 1981, I was right, all right,
Okay.
rumors have persisted that the deadly virus was created by the CIA to wipe out homosexuals and African Americans. Even today, the conspiracy theory has a high number of I have dyslexia. Even today, the conspiracy theory has a number of high-profile believers. South African President Thabo Mbeki, I hope I'm reading that right, once touted the theory, disputing scientific claims that the virus originated in Africa and accusing the U.S. government of manufacturing the disease in military labs. When she won the Nobel Peace Prize, Kenyan ecologist Wangari Maathai used the international spotlight to support the theory as well. Others insist that the government deliberately injected gay men with the virus during the 1978 hepatitis B experiments in New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Still, others point to Richard Nixon, who combined the U.S. Army's Biowarfare Department with the National Cancer Institute in 1971, though the co-discoverers of HIV, Robert Gallo of the National Cancer Institute and Dr. Luc Montagnier of the Pasteur Institute in Paris don't agree on its origins. Most members of the scientific community believe the virus jumped from monkeys to humans sometime during the 1930s.
If this was America's deterrent for homosexual and the gays, it's a classic move.
Monkeypox.
Oh yeah, that is a thing, isn't it? I completely forgot.
I think it's kind of weird though, because if you look at the time frames too, a lot more spotlights were being put on different lifestyles. 1980s, you see a lot more
that is
gay
true.
relationships, and then this happened. You see
As soon as
monkeypox. There was a lot of issues with trans rights, and then back to gay rights if gay marriage should be repealed. And it's like, ooh, yikes. And then literally monkeypox. And who's more likely and susceptible to monkeypox?
Gays.
Yes, sadly. Gay white men, for some reason.
Was it that specific? I heard it was just
it's
the first case
majority.
gay men. That's all I heard.
But that they widely believe that was because whoever patient 0 was most likely bisexual. But now it's already turning into one of those things that it's like, oh, you got, and it's sad because monkeypox, you could just be in a room with someone and get monkeypox. It's literally just prolonged exposure.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah. So no more devious licks. But this one, I remember this one for a long time, and I go on iFunny and I see a whole bunch of these, and it is very widely believed that the CIA is responsible for. They're responsible for a lot more than just this, but
the diseases, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really not too unbelievable considering how much real shit the CIA has done.
It's
not unlikely.
Yeah.
Have you seen the conspiracy about the storming of the Capitol?
There's a lot. Which one?
So there is. It's not really a conspiracy anymore because there's a lot of actual evidence to back it that the FBI planted people in the crowd to.
What?
So there was riots happening in Washington at the time, right? And they were outside the Capitol building. Well, there's GoPro footage of this guy who I believe he was high up in the FBI chain. Mm-hmm. And you can hear him shouting, tomorrow or in 2 days, we're going to storm the Capitol building. And everybody around him went, no, Fed. And they started yelling at him. It flashes back to, so now it's the next day, right?
Yeah.
The guy's back, but with a megaphone and a bunch of other people, which they also believe were planted by the FBI.
Right.
And they start going, all right, guys, remember tomorrow we're going to storm the Capitol building. All right, get in your places, everything like that. And they start getting all the dumber people into it. Because obviously once you get, I forget what it's called, mob mentality.
Yeah.
When it's if you get a large enough group of people, the ones that like don't really care or anything like that, they're just gonna back away. Versus the dumber people that are just gonna join in. They don't even need to know the full story. They're like, I'm in. Let's hear it. Let's do it. But it's believed that the FBI was
that
basically
they were in on that.
And there's a lot of evidence on it, and it's like, is it technically entrapment though? Is that technically entrapment?
I believe it is, just because they're.
I mean, we already know there was a lot of dumbasses doing it, and it's like, I don't even know why they did it. I'll be honest. I didn't even look into it, but I remember being like, why the fuck would you do it? Like, you can get shot on sight for doing that, but they weren't.
I guess power in numbers, just to show that they can do it.
There's video. I've watched a video of someone doing it, and the cops just kind of just let them do it. Cops just kind of opened up the thing, went, all right, I can't stop a big mob.
The gates to the
But you can see that guy
Uh-huh.
in the video. He's literally whispering to the cop.
Really?
Yeah, he's whispering to the cop and
My God.
talking to the cop, and it's like, and it's one of those things that you can't really fake because you're watching the actual footage,
Yeah.
and it's like, what? I was watching that uncut and being like, just kind of stunned at like, oh,
Like they got you red-handed, really.
for real, and I don't know what
And
you
with
could
right
do
now,
with your defense.
the age of technology right now, it's kind of hard to avoid that.
You're on camera. They
Yeah,
tracked you. They already
exactly.
know who was in there. They got all the videos. There's even cameramen. Like, have you seen the pictures? With the Buffalo Bill looking guy?
Yeah.
I think that was his name, but he's like wearing that fancy face paint and shit. But it shows him pushing open the major big doors, right?
Right.
How were their cameras already in there? Like,
Yeah.
the news agency had permission? So, what? Confused. And everybody was already in their bunker. They already knew it was going to happen. So everybody important was already out. But how did they know so soon? Like, obviously, yeah, you would want to know, but like, you'd still think you'd see some scramblers.
What would they have to gain then? Really?
I have no clue. Shitting on Nancy Pelosi's desk.
I guess.
The other one is the JFK assassination.
This one's always a fun one to go around because everyone at least that I know knows a little different of every story they've been told or taught.
So there's a bunch. So there's one where there's like multiple shooters.
Right.
So there's like, oh man, there was 2 gunmen or 3 or 4. Who knows? One of them was that Cuba was responsible.
That's a new one to me.
There is one that Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't the shooter. There's also one that the U.S. government was responsible.
See, that I've never heard
I think
of.
that is the most widely known one. And there's a lot of believability around it because I believe JFK was trying to get us back on the silver standard. And he was doing a lot of things that, you know, you don't really see in a politician. He was actually trying to make real world changes. Like, he was finding diplomatic ends to, you know, the Cuban crisis,
Right.
Cuban Missile Crisis. And it's pretty interesting, although that wasn't very Bay of Pigs. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
But he was doing a lot of stuff, and he was trying to get us back on, I believe it was a silver standard, and basically lock us into the worth of, so like $1 US would be worth one whatever of silver, right? Yeah. And that way we would be locked around silver. The U.S. hasn't been. I don't know what we're locked on. I know that we went off the gold standard a while ago. I believe it was during. I don't know. I don't want to say a name because I'll probably get it wrong. But he wanted to get us back on the silver standard, and if you look at how bad inflation is nowadays, it just keeps getting worse. And this kind of also goes into the other. There's a Fort Knox conspiracy. Just remembering now, and there's a. So you know how like
is that
there's
the one where
all the money's locked up.
No, they've promoted that Fort Knox
Yes.
is the biggest like gold.
Yes. There's
gold
so
hanger.
much gold there.
But
how many people have seen it?
Yeah,
None. You cannot see what is in Fort Knox, and it's. They say it's because they don't want people to know how much money is there because, you know, they don't want anybody like, you know, wanting to rob the place, you know, like, oh, all the money's there. But there's a conspiracy that they give it all to China because we're indebted to China. So to pay back.
That's the whole thing.
Well, there's more. There's like that the U.S. has basically been giving away gold to pay for certain things instead of like I forget, but that is another big one. But it kind of goes into that, which is crazy. But he wanted to get us back onto the silver standard because, you know, if we're locked around this worth of a metal, it's a lot easier to know how much we're worth and keep our worth at that level. But without it, you know,
inflation.
Yeah. A piece of bread costs what? Let's say a piece of bread costs 5 cents. A little slice of bread costs like 5 cents, which actually is probably more than it's worth in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Let's say it's worth that much. And now, do you know how much it is for a full loaf of bread?
I think it's like $5 to $8.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember how much it was when you were a kid?
I think I do. I think it was like $2.
Yeah, it was like $2.
Yep.
You know, you could go out. I remember when we were kids, we could go out with $20. That was like $100 now.
Yeah.
Because you could go to $20. You can go to a store and you could buy everything you would need for your family to feed you for 2 weeks. If you really were watching and budgeting.
Yeah.
Now, watching and budgeting, trying to make it last for 2 weeks, it's like $200 at checkout.
Yep.
That's sad. And like even with COVID and everything, it really sucked because everybody's stuck at home. Everybody is scared shitless. It's even worse. Like at least like with the Keystone Pipeline, which there were issues with that. Politics is stupid in general, but I think it's responsible for a lot of the problems we're having in society.
With COVID, it was there was a lot of like online orders I had to cancel, and some of them I did get canceled a lot, and I got my money back, but they still sent the item anyway because it was way too late to do anything. It was already like it was past beyond the point of returning, and yet that sometimes I got my money back, sometimes I did it, but most of the time I get all my product anyway.
Yep. Yeah. And now there's such an influx. Like everybody uses Amazon. I remember when I was a kid.
All the online, anything for online, it just went up because everyone was scared. No one wanted to go out.
Yep. And people will pay the higher price online.
Yeah.
Even if the shipping and handling label, is fake, like the actual cost isn't like let's say it's $5. Let's say it really doesn't cost that. People don't care. People will pay. People will pay for it. And
especially for like I don't even remember, just
Amazon Fresh.
Yep.
People will pay for it. DoorDash.
Oh my
Postmates.
God. DoorDash and Postmates.
Uber Eats. People
they
will
all
pay.
went up. Yep, it all went up. It all went up in price.
And where
too.
do they get the money? Where do they get the money for that? Like I see people like daily Uber Eats.
Yep.
How are you paying for that? But yet we're in a recession. Dude, I'm so confused. Because I'm looking at some people and I'm going, how the fuck are you getting the money? Like even when with my job and everything, I was still like, when I was paying for rent and everything, it was like barely making ends meet. And I was promoted. I was
you were.
I was making like $23 an hour. That's amazing. And it's dog shit because you barely have enough. Like I was staying at home eating like trying to make my own food. I was eating mac and cheese, boxed mac and cheese. I like Kraft mac and cheese.
Fire.
It's fire. It's good with a bowl of hot Cheetos right next to it. We're getting further from conspiracy theories.
Yes.
But I digress. JFK. I honestly think the government definitely had a role to play in that. I mean, the fact that there is so much, like, have you seen Watchmen?
Yes, I have. Yep. Yes,
The comedian kills JFK. There's even a Brandon Herrera video of him recreating the magic bullet.
I think I have seen that, but that was a long time ago.
And he basically walked through the steps, and he was like, I have no fucking clue how that bullet was recovered so beautifully. Like,
because it was clean, wasn't it?
Yeah. And like, I don't think Lee Harvey Oswald really had anything to do with it. He's probably the fall guy.
I was gonna. Yeah. What if he was the fall guy?
I think he was the fall guy, and then he got killed by Jack Ruby.
I think so.
He got killed literally the day after, before before Oswald was. He was only accused at that point, I believe.
For all we know, he would have spilled the truth, and they could have cleaned it up.
They could have. They were like, oh, Oswald isn't keeping his mouth shut. Kill him. Boom. Let's move on.
Yes, but first, a quick break. Okay, do you want to start it? I usually start it, but do you want to
Thank you guys for watching. It means a lot. And if you could please check out my Instagram and my Patreon. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this video, there's going to be a range of topics we cover for Late Time Talks. So be sure to check us out. We're on Spotify too. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, we're on YouTube. I post the videos anyways on both, so unless you're driving. But the video is accessible to you. But check us out. Link in the bio or description. So please check us out. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. So let's hear some from you.
So one that I really, really did like, because I tested this out for maybe it was $100 worth of testing in 2015. I don't know where you were, but if you remember, Facebook was just getting really big for adults, our parents. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere in the world grabbed a bag of Doritos and then put it against a flame, one chip against the flame, and it wasn't burning. If anything, it looked like it was like melting and rolling up on an open flame. And it caused this whole huge controversy and conspiracy theory of that we're eating plastic. That these chips we're eating are all plastic.
Have you ever eaten a granola bar as a kid?
Yes. And now.
What brand do you like? Quaker?
I think it was Quaker. Yeah, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was testing on that. They put extra corn syrup in it now, which corn syrup is normal. It's in everyday products nowadays. Mm-hmm. It's even worse nowadays, but whatever. So they put wood shavings in there. They have for a while, so it's nothing new. But me and my dad were talking about this the other day, and we talked about a time where it's like my senior year maybe. I went to bite my granola bar, and I straight up it was just a chunk of wood. There was straight up just a little like sliver of wood along the base of the thing. It was like a little splint, and I immediately was sickened. I was like, "What the fuck? It's wood. It's wood. There's so much wood nowadays in a granola bar.
Really?
Not even kidding. You can look it up. They don't even care about it. But it's sad because it's worse for you now. Not only because of the higher sugars, but it's also the wood shavings and this, I don't know what you call it, wood fibers.
I guess
it's not really digestible for a human. So when you do it, it'll either clog up your stomach, intestines, or whatever. And if your body somehow does process it, God knows how it actually digests.
Right.
But so if they were putting plastic in your foods, which was it that prison that said that an inmate was...
Yeah, they found
microplastics.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And like everything is bottled nowadays in plastic. Mm-hmm. Everything has plastic coating. Like, what's your computer lined with? Plastic.
Yep.
These microphones definitely do have plastic in them. And if they're not in the metal...
It's everywhere.
It's coated on the metal. If it's not coated on the metal, it's painted on. It's like our watches.
They could have plastic parts in there that make it work.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Yep. Which plastics are nice because the longevity of a product.
Yeah. Plastic's eternal.
It doesn't go away, which is actually bad because most of our garbage isn't getting recycled properly. It's just getting thrown in landfill.
The 9 floating islands in the ocean.
I believe it takes 15 years for a grocery bag to completely...
Does it? I didn't know they actually decompose. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, well, because most people just burn them, which is even worse.
That's worse.
But it's like, I want to... Here, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see. Let's see. How
Sure,
long...
while you do that, I'll say with $100 worth of experiments, I bought multiple bags of chips for maybe 4 months of Lay's, Doritos, Cheetos, and I had a small fireplace at the time where I was living, and I would just with long tongs, I just put it on top of fire and just watch it burn or melt.
Oh, it's
And-
way worse than I thought.
Oh yeah,
It's
you see,
1,000
It's eternal.
years.
It's 1,000 years. That none of us are going to be here.
Unfortunately, the bags don't break down completely, but instead photodegrade, becoming microplastics that absorb toxins and continue to pollute the environment.
Yeah, they're eternal.
Beautiful. But as you were saying, yes, $100.
Yeah, I
Says-
just burned a bunch of chips, and one by one too. I took my time with them because I needed to see if I was actually eating plastic. Because at the time they were very young. My two little brothers, we'd eat a lot of chips, and when I heard that, I'm like, "There's no way this can't be real." And the only thing I concluded from spending $100 of burning chips was everything can burn differently. Very few things don't burn. I say a few, but there's probably over like 1,000. But
And with things like that, though, like especially if it's a long time ago, you realize, like looking at some videos, that it's clearly fake.
yeah,
And then you
well,
go back and you go, like, oh shit. But then it's like the believability of it was
Yes.
so real at the time.
Yeah, no, it was when Facebook started blowing up. It was
Now,
2015.
like, I don't think there's enough plastic in our food to be like.
You
we-
can
we're gonna
catch
be,
it
we're
like
gonna
you
be like, oh, what's that in my teeth? Oh my god! You
right.
know? I think it's enough to be like.
Well, at least now it is because I mean I don't know if you heard the fish are coming out with plastic in them.
Oh, go figures. Go figures. Like, I have no doubt that it's probably in chicken feed. It's probably like,
That's probably true.
you know,
Whatever's in
it's
our
gotta be
pigs
everywhere.
too. Yeah.
yeah, pigs, cows. Yeah, so I have no doubt that they're using plastic in our shit. Like, come on, that for real. I don't think the FDA
It's
gives
one
a
of those,
shit.
yeah, it's one of those quick things. Like if you look at the old food industry and how they made food, you just gotta think as like, oh, it's a little bit. No one will notice. They keep letting it slide, and then it just builds over time. You know?
Have you heard the one where it's like it's not blood? It's not blood and meat. It's,
I think I have heard of that. Yes.
It's a liquid that makes the food look good.
I think I have heard of that.
And yeah, having worked in a meat department, let me tell you, it is so hard to tell. And to be honest, I think it is real blood. They definitely put something in it to make it look better. They definitely do, no doubt.
Well, it could be similar to what.
But I think it's like a preservative.
that's yeah. Yep.
But like when you open up a meat COV, a cryogenic store, vacuum sealed bag of meat, and you open it up and you slice it open, and you like if it's ribeyes, let's say it's ribeyes, and you slice it open, there's a shit ton of that meat and blood, and the blood comes pouring out. A lot of the times the blood looks like jelly, and you're just kind of like, oh. But I think it's really just a preservative. I think that's what they mix into it. I don't think it has anything to do with like filler or making.
The only reason I compare it to that, and the only reason I knew about it too, is because I compared it to dead people. They drain their blood and fill them up so they look nice still, and like they're preserved, right?
Yeah.
But it's simply just use a different preservative that can still be edible.
Yeah.
For meat product.
Edible.
It's too
We
late.
don't know.
It's too late into life to say what's not edible anymore.
I think people in the U.S. are just test dummies. A lot of times, like we say, we monitor
The consumers are the test
like,
dummies.
like if you think about it, we are, and half the products that were being used in the 80s are not FDA approved anymore. If you really think about it, there is so much shit that never should have been, and I think it's because the FDA or whatever health organization goes over and just goes, oh wait, no, that was bad. There's a military base, Camp Lejeune, and I only know because I keep getting emailed about it. There's a lawsuit because the water, which my dad told me, he said it tasted like jet fuel, and that was after they cleaned it. Cleaned it. So apparently, a lot of people that were in Camp Lejeune from 19 something to 1981, I believe is the time frame, have lymphoma, or they have leukemia. They have legitimate cancer and health issues.
Oh my God.
A lot of them. And my one of my family friends, uncle, we call him uncle, 'cause Asian family,
Right.
uncle. Yeah, he I'm not gonna say his name.
It's fine.
He was diagnosed with lymphoma,
Oh my God.
and he stayed at that camp. So it's one of those things where it's people are definitely just test subjects.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really cares when they just see numbers on a screen. They just go, oh, whatever. Look at our sales though, or look at our,
Ooh, skyrocketing. Let me tell you.
like the government loves to spend money on a military, but how the military is treated isn't really. There was one. There's another conspiracy about. It's not really a conspiracy. There's a dead lieutenant, and she was supposedly they. There's a lot of speculation about her murder, that was ruled as a suicide. It was ruled as suicide. She got shot in the back of the head, I believe, and she got shot multiple times.
What?
But there was a lot of issues at that camp and with that military base, is because there was a lot of hazing,
Right.
and there was one guy that got shot in the leg, and it was ruled as a. There was several murders,
Oh my God.
and they believe it was a hazing incident, but they were ruled as suicide to spare the other people. The actual
I see.
suspects. So
The cover
I
up.
remember I was listening to another podcast about that. Stuff they don't want you to know. Check them out. They're actually really good. They got some really good stuff. Like if you like conspiracies, dude, they got some good shit. But a lot of the other stuff I learned from iFunny. You got another one? Because we can probably keep this rolling for a while. We can make this a long video if we wanted.
Okay, here's one that almost everyone knows about, or at least thought of, that our phones or our technology is always listening to us. I think that's true, but there's very fine ways of how it happens. It's always the terms of service. No one ever reads that.
You agree to the terms of service.
Yes.
Even if you use a product or a website, everybody uses Google, right?
Yes.
And there was that one YouTuber, I remember watching this back in like high school days, and it was like, your phone is listening to you. And I was like, all right, well, let's watch this video. And lo and behold, he talks about dog food. He goes like, I'm going to talk about dog food for a full minute straight, and I'm going to show you that every ad that's going to pop up is going to be dog related.
Yep.
And he loads the website first. He goes like, this is my website. This is a brand new device. He has no sign in, no nothing.
Right.
No, only the Wi-Fi on there. And he's like going on there, goes on he opens up 13 different tabs or whatever amount. And he loads up each website, looks at the ad, especially Amazon, right? And just random ads of like, now hiring, or, another one where it's just, none of them were dog related.
Right.
All of them were just like nationwide, insurance companies, credit card, whatever. Just very broad topics for ads.
Yes.
And then he talks about dogs for like a whole minute straight. Dog's this. I love my dog. Dog. Then he goes over, first page he opens up, dog food. Refreshes the next page, dog food. Next one, dog toys. Next one, grooming dogs. Next one. And he's like, every single page. And he's like, see, it may not be that someone's recording you.
No.
But the device is listening.
Yes.
And there's a conspiracy that goes kind of hand in hand with that. Of Facebook was created to track viewers.
Yes.
And basically track the U.S., not only U.S., but also other people.
Yep.
And
did you hear about what happened with I think it was Amazon? Didn't Alexa started listening to everyone's Amazon purchase intentionally and recorded it and started like
it
was a whole leak
Amazon,
thing, right? They were listening intentionally.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Snapchat was there was a breach, or not a breach, but they're being sued, and there's a settlement out for them, and basically their filters was stealing facial information.
Really?
It was screening, yeah. So
wow.
A lot of them that you were using, so like if you wanted a face tracking one or a funny face, it was stealing your facial data.
Wow.
which is what the
It's
fuck?
that's wild.
It is wild, but it's happening, and it doesn't really surprise me. Information is power, and I think people know that, especially Facebook. Facebook, I think Mark Zuckerberg last week stated like with a simple tweak, you could easily just like hack
Yeah.
someone's Oculus and shit,
Right.
and they were like, "What?" He mentioned it on the news, and it was like. And then the FBI questioned him about it. It was like, "What did you mean by
What do you
that?
mean by that?
How easy? Can you show us how?" I bet that's what they wanted to know.
That's
How?
probably like
How easy?
how do you know this?
But there's a conspiracy that Mark Zuckerberg is in the CIA and that he was recruited by the CIA,
I wouldn't be surprised if I'm gonna be completely honest.
and he's been selling the information. So he's been selling it, and that's what the stock has been. Is just like you've been buying your own information getting sold, and like I believe it actually.
I mean, I kind of do because anytime you're on a website, when it asks you for the cookies, so it can like take your information to give you more suggestions. When you click it, you're giving away information intentionally.
Mhm.
Not to mention, like again before, all the terms and service. The rare, like maybe 2% of people that actually read through it, do they know what they're doing? Also, you're when you talk to your phone, you have the mic. You can talk to it. You have a terms and service when you get the phone to use the mic feature. So if it ever is listening, which I kind of doubt, only because you need such a supercomputer to record all of this.
all of them.
It's-
So I
it's
think if you were a
impossible.
person of interest, obviously, and I think that Central Intelligence probably said something about it, but they definitely been. But they even said themselves like, "Don't worry, we're not. There's no FBI surveillance van right outside your house. You're not that important." But it's still kind of like one of those things where it's like, well, what if I was important enough to you?
Right.
Would I be screened basically? And no doubt you would. It'd be pretty easy to
Yeah,
screen someone and be like,
It's not saying it's impossible that an FBI agent
Yeah,
could just be
just-
like, if you're a person of interest, it wouldn't be that hard to go to your
at
computer
all.
or phone.
No, they'd be
No.
like, "Oh, I got my
But
5
what
terabyte."
would you be doing to get their interest is the issue.
Yeah, that's
But to get everyone's information all at once, right now at this very second, it's impossible. The computers, any computer would not handle all that data.
oh no. Oh, which one? Oh, I think we. How far along are we?
We can
Oh,
keep
we're
going.
actually
No,
not
we
that
have-
far.
no,
we can keep
we
going.
can keep going.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
I know about this one. Do you want to lead this
How
one off?
about you start this one? Or I
Okay.
can mention. I'll start it, but then you
Okay.
you reel it in.
Okay.
So this one is that the moon landings were faked, and there's a lot of people that believe this.
Right.
And
Okay.
I know quite a few things, but
Here's what I believe. I think the moon landings were real. I think the footage was fake.
yeah,
Only because the one key detail, if I'm pretty sure everyone's noticed it, it's the flag.
I have
Go
more
on.
on that.
So do you have more? Because that's
okay,
the
so-
only information I have.
Yes.
Besides that is how back then, how did we know the camera wasn't gonna like be destroyed when we were leaving the gravity?
So, the way it goes is that they every time they visit, they put a flag, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, the flag is actually very believable.
Okay.
So, in space, there's no wind resistance, right?
Right.
And when they go to plant it and they're jostling it around, you see it wave super fast.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there's wind. And people are like, no, it's zero gravity. The flag would just float away.
Right.
Or it wouldn't flap at all. Or
I have
whatever.
something to add on once
But
you're done.
You know, Mythbusters did one
Mm-hmm.
on it. And they were like, no, it's actually pretty correct. My issue with the moon landing is how the fuck did you broadcast it live?
I thought. Wait, that was broadcasted live. I thought they gave the footage when they landed.
Was it live?
I didn't think that was live. Wait, that was live? Oh, my contacts are messing up. I can't read right now.
I don't know.
Because I thought the whole point was they made it to the moon, and then they came back, and then they gave the footage, and then they stitched it all together. It's like, oh yeah, the moon landing. I didn't know it was live.
Yeah, so this one is this is Time magazine. It says the smoking gun film of Aldrin planting a waving American flag on the moon, which critics says proves that he was not in space. The flag's movements, they say, clearly shows the presence of wind, which is impossible in a vacuum. NASA says Aldrin was twisting the flagpole to get the moon soil, which caused the flag to move. Blah, blah, blah. And never mind that astronauts have brought back hundreds of independently verified moon rocks. Theorists have even suggested that filmmaker Stanley Kubrick may have helped NASA fake the first lunar landing, given that his 1968 film, 2001: A Space Odyssey, proves the technology existed back then to artificially create a space-like set.
Here's the thing: if it was live, which I actually didn't know,
I don't know if it was.
Did we have satellites already? Because I guess radio waves would work.
You would need a broadcasting.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be that powerful? Because
I don't think it would.
The giant spaceship, they come in. I mean, just that one piece they come in.
Here, wait.
That'd be enough to hit a satellite and then back.
Was the moon?
It was right there. It was the first one.
Apollo 11 was the first manned mission to land on the moon on 20th of July, 1969. NASA used technology first developed in 1928 by the Scottish innovator that enabled the live broadcast from this mission. So it was live. It was live. But my issue is, how do you get footage that well broadcasted to the American people that quickly?
You're right.
That was my issue.
I never thought of that. But to be fair, I never knew it was live.
If you think about it, how many UV lenses? There's an atmosphere with Earth.
I mean, you've seen it on the spacemen. The lenses they use. They have like a bunch of them on.
Burn your camera. That was my issue. Your color wouldn't be showing through that easily, which I don't think it does. But there was also issues of timing and everything and flapping. I think if we pull up the footage.
The flapping thing, like, I understand, like, if it's the moon's gravity. My issue was, it was a straight flapping, like if it was on Earth, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I expect the flag to move in any direction, but straight, like if there was wind.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it's just, you don't know. I don't know. I wasn't there. If I was there, I would tell you. I think Aldrin it was Aldrin who said that he always jokes with people that says the moon landing was fake.
It's one of those things where you're like, you had to actually be there, you know?
I think some people take it seriously. I don't think he is saying it seriously. I think it's more of a joke. But I think, the moon landing, I think it was real.
Yeah, I believe the moon landing was real as well.
I don't think the footage was real.
Exactly. We agree on that, yeah. I don't think the footage is real. I think the landing was real.
There's another one where it was like, who's the first man to walk on the moon?
Armstrong.
Okay, who recorded him?
The third guy. I don't know his name. Because I know the first guy was Armstrong.
Aldrin or
the second guy, and then the third guy had the camera, wasn't it? At least that's what I thought.
Aldrin had a camera too. But how did they record Armstrong? Was Armstrong POV?
Armstrong was the one jumping. He was the one skipping, remember, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It wasn't POV.
How did they get the camera there though? Those weren't the first steps.
The first steps were, you
know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
They already had a camera outside pointed outward towards them.
It
wasn't POV. And if they did have a POV, how the fuck do you have a camera that nice?
You're right. I didn't think of that either.
There's so many issues with it. And I feel like majority of it's just propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
That fuck you, Russia. And
well, in a way, it would make sense if it was, because the great space race.
Yeah, Russia won, but we made to the moon. The moon was our staple. That you can send people to space. Good luck getting them back, but we can send people to the moon and get them back every time.
Well, wasn't that the whole reason it was called Apollo 11? Because all we could do was slingshot people to space. They'd use the moon's gravity to force themselves back.
Yeah,
it was all science, but also luck-based.
Yeah. It was a lot of calculating going into it, and even just the liftoff.
I don't remember what number it was, but didn't they make a whole documentary on the one guy who got launched into space and then his trajectory was thrown off, and he did like all these calculations, cutting back in and out with the space station, trying to see if he can actually make it back to Earth.
I think so.
I don't remember what it was, but
who
I know it was a whole documentary I watched when I was a lot younger.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with this, I found.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the moon landing was faked, but the footage, I don't think it was live. I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't think it was entirely real. I think a lot of it is dramatized.
I'm pretty sure it's real because when I was younger, I didn't have cable for TV, and all I had was like PBS Kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a late night show where the guy was saying, "Oh, do we even have anything in on the moon?" It had to be fake, right? And the scientist gave him the telescope and said, "There is a specific machine up there that can show us that there's that we've sent things up there, right?" And he used the telescope and he's like, "Oh, you're right." They couldn't get it on camera. They're just like, "Yeah, there's your thing. There's the whole machines that we put up there sometimes. The rovers.
The
it's
moon
right
base,
there. Yeah, you
the
can use the
lunar base.
the telescope. And
Yeah,
it's right there. We can see it through the telescope. Okay, so the landings were real.
the landings were real. But I don't think the footage was real. I don't think they were.
You have
there's so much UV rays that a flag like that just gets bleached like pretty much within a day. It gets bleached white.
Yeah, I didn't know it gets bleached, but I know
It gets
the UV
sun-bleached.
rays because
Yeah,
you're getting too close to the sun. Even if
Let's,
it's just that much distance for space.
Let's wrap
which is
it
a
up
lot.
with the famous one.
Oh,
Now, this conspiracy is that the elite Illuminati, are reptiles.
I know all the jokes and memes about this, but I've never actually done any research on why this exists or why this conspiracy exists.
There's a whole bunch, and it's definitely not true. Like, it's just dumb, to be honest. But I feel like it was a joke that went too far. This one,
Right.
but the basis is that every politician or every other just the ones that are in the Illuminati and all that shit.
Right.
Queen Elizabeth, she was a reptile because they live so long and their skin is fake. I've even seen deep fake videos of Joe Biden, and then they have his skin like his skin isn't lined up right, and that his eyes are wrong, and then it's like, oh, this reptile forgot to wear his skin suit properly. No, I don't think it's not possible.
Just human deformities.
I feel like it's just funny to joke around like that. Like, Mark Zuckerberg looks like a goddamn reptile. Let's see here.
Oh, God. Oh, does this start at...
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, my God. Did this start because of...
Okay, so let me read this. This is from Time Magazine, and it says, they are among us? Blood-drinking, flesh-eating, shape-shifting extraterrestrial reptilian humanoids with only one objective in their cold-blooded little heads: to enslave the human race. They are our leaders, our corporate executives, our beloved Oscar-winning actors and Grammy-winning singers, and they're responsible for the Holocaust, the Oklahoma City bombings, and the 9/11 attacks. There's actually an Oklahoma City bombing conspiracy as well, at least according to former BBC Sports reporter David Icke, who became the poster child for the theory in 1998. Oh, that's a relatively new one. After publishing the first book, The Biggest Secret, which contained interviews with two Brits who claimed members of the royal family are nothing more than reptiles with crowns. I think that's them making a joke like, oh, they're a bunch of cold-blooded assholes.
Right.
Reptiles, I think it is a joke. I think that is a joke that went too far.
If it happened that early, 1998,
yeah.
Think about the news and propaganda. That might have been like, oh, they're cold-blooded reptiles, and then
I have no doubt that there are bigger people behind it, but they're not reptiles.
Yeah.
There's an Oklahoma City bombing one. Did you hear about that?
No.
So there's an Oklahoma City bombing one, and there's a Stephen Paddock Las Vegas shooting one. There's so much. Yeah. We're going to cover that in a minute. Let us just take a quick break real quick. And welcome back.
Yes, it is.
One of the cameras died. Forgot what I was talking about.
That there was a bomb squad.
There was a bomb squad.
A bomb squad
car.
trucks.
So,
and that the original truck that was part of the news report had nothing to do with it.
yes. So, okay. So, let us okay. So, oh no, that's unanswered questions. I want the fucking okay, baseless Oklahoma City bombing. Okay, this is factcheck.org. Okay, so the full story. An old conspiracy theory from the 1990s has gotten 21st century update. It's now spreading on Facebook as a meme. I've seen it. The theory suggests that then First Lady, Hillary Clinton was involved in the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. In all, 168 people died after anti-government extremist Timothy McVeigh detonated a homemade bomb that was inside of a rented truck that he parked outside. There's no way it was outside. That was underneath. It had to have been. If you look at it, yeah. In the Alfred P. Murray Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City. The claim, which has been around since the bombing happened, has now been distilled into a meme with a picture of the aftermath of the blast that says, "Reminder, this building in Oklahoma City was blown up and destroyed just 4 days before Hillary Clinton was to be indicted in the Whitewater scandal. All documents lost." But there's no evidence to support that claim. Blah, 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 blah. According to the state government report issued in the aftermath of the bombing, Murray Building had regional offices, blah, 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 blah. There was no mention in that report of the Department of Justice having offices in the Murray Building. That's one. That's one that I've heard. That one is a big meme.
That Hillary Clinton had something to do behind it.
Yes. But I don't think she did. So, here it is. Okay, overview. At 9:02 a.m. Central Time, April 19th, 1995, a Ryder rental truck contained more than 6,200 pounds of ammonium nitrate fertilizer, nitromethane, and diesel fuel mixture was detonated in the front of the north side of the 9-story Alfred P. Murray Federal Building. The attack claimed 168 lives and left over 600 people injured. Shortly after the explosion, Oklahoma State Trooper, caught, arrested, whatever, 1977 Mercury sedan, whatever. Okay, so several witnesses reported seeing a second person with McVeigh around the time of the bombing, whom investigators later called John Doe No. 2. In 1997, the FBI arrested Michael Brescia, a member of Aryan Republican Army who resembled an artist's rendering of John Doe 2 based on the eyewitnesses' accounts. However, they later released him, reporting that their investigation had indicated he was not involved with the bombing. One reporter of the Washington Post reflected on the fact that John Doe 2 has never been found. Maybe he'll, parentheses, John Doe No. 2, be captured and convicted someday. If not, he'll remain eternally at large. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Okay. One theory contends that there was a cover-up of the existence of additional explosives planted within the Murray Building. The theory focuses on the local news channels reporting the existence of a second and third bomb within the first hours of the explosion. Theorists point to nearby seismographs that record 2 tremors from the bombing, believing it to indicate 2 bombs had been used. Experts dispute this, stating that the first tremor was a result of the first bomb, and the second tremor was result of the bomb, while the second tremor was due to the collapse of the building. Conspiracy theorists say there are several discrepancies, such as proposed inconsistencies between the observed destruction and the bomb used by McVeigh. Physicist Samuel T. Cohen, known as the primary inventor of the neutron bomb, stated in a letter to an Oklahoma politician he did not believe a fertilizer bomb was capable of causing the destruction of the Murray Building. Similarly, Air Force Brigadier General Benton K. Parton expressed an opinion that there have been additional explosive charges inside the Murray Building. There's a U.S. federal government involvement, which is the one we heard that Clinton was, whatever. But yeah, those are the theories.
I mean, looking at the images, that is way too big of an explosion.
That's fucking huge, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's half the building.
it's not something that a parked truck. Yeah, 6,200 pounds. Okay.
A truck. I'm thinking not a whole like truck for product.
U-Haul.
That's exactly what I'm
U-Haul.
thinking. That I don't think that can hold. That
It definitely could, but
Uh-huh.
I don't think it would go off like that. You have to have. It has to be like right at the front of the fucking building to get the floors to collapse like that.
unless if they, I don't know, it was a lucky shot. It hit the support beams of those floors. I don't know because that's
If
that's
it's hitting the
huge.
support beams, it would be inside the building, which is what a lot of people believe. That the truck wasn't to blame, and that the real bomb was
was already inside.
inside. Yeah, so that's why people are saying there's two bombs.
I
It's
mean,
very, very hard to tell.
I'm no
It's an
I'm
interesting
no
one.
expert, but I don't know if I should mention this. In my hometown, a building blew up when I was still in school, and it was just a gas leak, but we felt the tremors. We
I actually lived near that house.
super mild. You remember, right?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like half a mile away.
It was for you it was half a mile. For me it was miles and miles away.
Yeah.
But we felt it more than we heard it where I was with
Yeah.
my group of friends, and we saw it 2 days later because the police kept everyone away, and it destroyed the whole building, right? But that's just because of gas leak. Comparing that to what a bomb could do, and that's a bigger building.
That was a gas leak inside of a house. too.
Yes.
So, do you know that the neighbor, I think his daughter or something, got knocked out by a plank of wood?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
The plank of wood went through a window and knocked her out.
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was fucking weird. But because the parents weren't home and they were like going like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Jesus. I was actually at work at the time, and I remember when it happened, I thought a truck hit the back of the receiving doors, and I was the overnight manager in charge.
Uh-huh.
I was super scared. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna have to fill out paperwork." Bro, I go outside and there's nothing. I was going like, I heard these doors fucking clank.
Like,
And then one of my staff comes up to me and goes, "Hey, John, did a helicopter land on the roof? Or did it like a plane crash? Like, what the fuck was that?" I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I just heard what sounded like a helicopter crash or land on the roof."
yeah, you
And I was going like, "What?"
were you
And it was because we were in a store, so like there's little like zones.
you were
where
at
it's
job
just loud.
number 3, right? Where we used to work, right?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so
It
then
was,
okay.
It was yeah.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
I know
one of
where
my-
you were then.
Yeah.
Because
Um,
if that's the case, then you were technically closer than me because
I was.
for me, I felt the tremor. Like stuff shook in the building where I was, right? But the lights also
Oh,
flickered.
There was two. That's right. There was the house and the emissions building.
I was talking about the house at the beginning,
Okay.
but I'm talking about the building now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now I'm
I
talking
was,
about
I
the
was at my
building.
job at the building. Yeah.
Yeah, no, when the building blew up in our old hometown, I was at another building not too far away, but still great distance. We felt the tremors, and the lights flickered, and just instinctively the first thing I thought of, I need to call my brothers. That's the first thing I did, and they told me that they felt it too. I'm like, okay, cool. Do me a favor, lock the doors, go to the
See,
basement until I say
thought
otherwise.
it was a hit and run with a semi. That's what it sounded like from inside our building.
Nope.
And I immediately got a call from my mom going like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you safe?" And I was like, "Yeah." "Why?" And they were like, "A building just exploded and we're making sure that you're okay." I think there was only one person that died in that
There was
building.
only one person miraculously terrible, but still, like,
Yeah,
how?
that was insane.
No injuries, no nothing. Just there was just one person inside, and they just
Mostly
gone.
property damage.
Yeah. No, I felt the tremors, and the first thing I told, get my brothers out of there. And after that, it was like 5 minutes. The news was on it,
Yeah.
and everyone who was local knew what happened. I'm just like, that is about a 10-minute drive, and we heard it from here.
So, have you heard of the one of Stephen Paddock? So, if you remember Stephen Paddock, he was responsible for the Las Vegas massacre, the terrible shooting.
Then I know about it, but I don't know about it.
So, basically, so you know that he had bump stocks on his guns. He had, like a shit ton of equipment dragged to his
Yes.
room and suitcases that he brought in. So,
But he only ever fired one of them, right? He unloaded one of them,
if you
but
look
then
at it in the pictures, it looks like two assault rifles
Mhm.
drilled in, aimed down at the ground.
Yes.
2 of them. But he had several guns, which makes no sense. Why the fuck would you do that? With only it made no sense for that. But the issue was the firing rate. That he fired 2,000 something rounds, but he was stopped so quickly.
Mhm.
And then there was issues of where those shots were coming from. There was one saying that it came from an attack helicopter in the area. That there was a helicopter that somebody was shooting out of.
Right.
But it wasn't Stephen Paddock. Now, I have no doubt that Stephen Paddock definitely did some shit. But there was multiple accounts of people saying that he wasn't responsible. That his wife had no intention of leaving him. That his life was going fine. They even recovered a hard drive containing child porn. Even though his brothers said that he had... why would he have that?
Mhm.
It was planted on him. His brother was trying to go out and say that shit. There was a bunch of random shit. But for every shooting almost, there seems to be a lot more conspiracies based around it. And I mean, you see this a lot with the Oklahoma City bombing and the Las Vegas shooting. And I think it's people just trying to make something bigger than what it is.
A lot of times it's bad to say, but they're trying to get a message, but with their actions it gets rid of the purpose of the message.
Like
a lot of the times.
Especially when it's so soon for some of these things. It's just the most infamous one is sadly, the coming up 9/11 with the planes and the fact that they think the steel beams, there was another bomber that there were already bombs.
They couldn't melt.
There's one that the planes were holograms. It's so stupid.
That's a first.
Yeah. The Michael Jackson hologram, they think that they used that technology for one of his...
Oh, you mean no? I know what. Okay,
yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
It was like they think they used that technology. They didn't. The rubble's there
in broad daylight. No.
But there's a lot of conspiracies about that. That one's one of the most infamous ones. But I feel like a lot of people just want to make a conspiracy just because... I don't know how to phrase this correctly without being like... I feel like it's just people being so insensitive that... It's also, I think, schizo posting,
Right.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
It's people thinking too hard about something and trying to blame a specific group or person for the actions that occurred. Instead of accountability.
People.
Yeah. So instead of taking accountability to that person, like, I have no doubt that, like, there were probably some shady stuff being done. No doubt.
Yeah.
In any of these instances. There was definitely shady stuff. The Pentagon. Do you remember the Pentagon? Same day as 9/11.
Yep.
There's a plane that hit the Pentagon. But
there
was
were
no airplane parts. No airplane. You couldn't see anything. And the explosion wasn't that big.
It hit, like, one of the lines, right?
But there was also a deficit reported that day.
Yeah.
Everybody ignored it because of what was happening. So there's definitely other shady stuff happening. No doubt. But to what extent? And I feel like it's a bit of just a ripple effect, and it just gets worse and worse. So people go over and they go, oh, well, you know what, they did this. Why didn't they also do this? They probably did. You know what? They did this. government killed JFK.
Yeah.
And then they just keep falling deeper down this rabbit hole of just, obviously.
Not nonsense.
Yeah. And it sucks because some of these, like if you had no information going into some of these, they really do sound...
They're convincing.
By themselves, they sound extremely convincing. Until you look a little more and you're like, all right, well, now that I have more information, I don't know.
It's the things like you could see it, but is it?
Yeah.
Sorry. What I mean by that is like you can see the false
yeah.
information or the conspiracy that's written down, and you can like.
But you can't
Like,
make
oh,
heads
okay.
or tails of it.
Yes.
I think the average person would rather just say they believe in it.
Mhm.
But I think in their mindset, they're saying that they believe it to a certain extent. Like,
Right.
I don't think anybody believes the whole, like, the Oklahoma City bombing. There's no base for the fact that, oh, Whitewater, Hillary Clinton, it is all gone.
Right.
I don't...
That's a little too
It's
specific.
It's just like, okay, all right. Makes no sense. There's no facts to go around it. And then a conspiracy theorist could go like, but no, that's what they want you to think.
It's all planned out.
It's like,
They're seven steps ahead of you.
I have no doubt that it's just, you can point fingers all fucking day, but you're never going to know. You're never going to know. With a lot of conspiracies, you're
Yeah,
never...
you as a normal person, no matter what position you're
No.
in, will never know.
Nope.
Unless if you were somehow a part of it. But we will never know.
Nope. We will never know. Unless we were involved. Which then,
Then you're in a lot of
Obviously.
shit if you're talking about it.
yeah, to be honest. All right. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, that's all I had to talk about. Yeah.
This was actually test footage, believe it or not. We're just testing new equipment. We got these new microphones, which we got a new soundboard too, which I think Diego for that investment right there. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be doing more range of content. It won't just be this. We just did this because we wanted to talk about this. It's an easy topic to discuss between the two of us.
Yep. And not to mention, like John said, testing all of the audio equipment now.
Yeah. So
And definitely we'll have more guests on. They'll be more structured.
yes,
It won't be everywhere.
yeah. We will be a little bit of everywhere, but not like there will be structure. There
Yeah.
will be structure. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, like it. If you don't,
it helps a lot.
oh well. If you want to see more of this content, subscribe. If you want to see different content, comment below. What do you want to see? I
Give
want
us
to
some
know.
ideas.
I want to know. And thank you guys, and have a good night.
Night, everyone.
Bye bye.